main concept this week was algebra, which our definition is algebra is the ability to understand patterns and relationships, in particularly of numbers, and that algebraic equations are statements of these relationships. I think it was a really valid point made that algebra is more than just putting numbers into the equations. I think that's where all our first thoughts go to, and that's what we think algebra has to have. Algebra needs to have the missing elements. So that's, I think, a main point that I tried to understand this week, was that algebra is more than just equations with missing parts, and then those missing parts being with letters. Obviously that is a big part of it, but there's a lot more to it. I did laugh during the lecture when Romina was talking about how when she explained what integers were. Not integers, functions were. She goes, "You probably all didn't know what that was before I just explained it." And I went, "Yep, without a doubt." I remember doing my 2-unit math when I tried to do that, and we were doing functions. I had no idea what they were. I didn't ask questions. I just sort of did it and did the answer. So that was interesting to me, to find out truly what the definition of functions are. And that is that when one number is affected, the other one is affected also. I saw a couple of people's definitions on the forum that when something happens to side A, the same thing happens to side B, which I don't think is true. I think it's because obviously within an equation it's not always the same when you've got the, say, number of paddle pop sticks and the size of it. It's not the same number. Like you're skipping by ones, but the bottom number isn't going up by one. So you can't really say that it's got to do with when one thing happens, it happens on the other side. Also, how the patterns, how we use the word rule, I think that's really interesting, because I know as soon as she said the word rule, I realised, oh, children love rules, as we talked about when we were talking about division with sharing. Same as rules, it's got to be the same every time. I know what children are like. They go, oh, but that's not fair, that's not following the rules. So that's focusing on using the child's language to help them understand what is going on. Also, the importance of patterns. I never realised that patterns in algebra. I really enjoyed the tables with the patterns where you have to find the equation. I've loved doing that since I was in year 5, and I've continued doing it even though we did 163, and that week came. Loved it, always have. I usually don't have too many issues trying to find the pattern. I quite like it, and I find it fun. What else do I want to talk about this week? Tessellation is always fun. I think every child loves playing tessellation. And I never actually considered that the equals side was like a big thing that no one understood. I always just thought equals. So it's interesting to see that a lot of children think that it's the working that doesn't equal on the other side, which I guess is hard, because if you're trying to tell a child that 2x plus 4x equals 5, that doesn't look the same. They don't know that that's the same, so I think I'll definitely focus on that, and also the scales. For my teaching strategy, I am going to use a scale, like a scale on a piece of paper, to show children to make things equal on both sides. So I actually really enjoyed this week. I enjoyed the understanding what the concept of algebra was for children in the younger years, and how we introduced the concept, because I never really fully understood, how do we go from what we do in year 10, how do we build up to that? I also was interested to see how patterns is considered algebra, as it is in the syllabus, under number, but also under algebra. So that was really interesting. So overall, I had a really good week. I really enjoy the concept. I am trying to I'm finding it slightly difficult to think about how I'm going to show a teaching strategy, but I'm getting there. And yeah, so it's been a good week. Thank you.